Welcome to Halachot of Niddah. This will be part 11 of the class. Today's class, the Torah demands balance, not extremes. Today we want to see if the Torah tells us that the only time you have to separate from your wife is during that period, whether it's going to be day or night, when she's anticipating to receive her period. What's going to be the halacha if you had a person who was an ignoramus? That's all. A lot of times when people do things out of extreme, out of stringency, because they don't know halachot. I one time was speaking to somebody, and he said, Rabbi, Torah is very hard. I said, not true. Torah is beautiful, and it's easy when done right. When you learn the Torah correctly, and you see how many things the Torah allows you to do, how it allows you to enjoy life, you'll understand the way you've been learning it is the wrong way. Listening to everybody with their stories and everything, asur, 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 asur. Rabotai, if we open up the Shulchan Aruch and see where it says what they say that it's asur, you won't find it. You won't find it. Maybe they learned that out from a story. Maybe they learned that out from a midrash. You won't find it. In order to understand when it comes to halakha, if you want to know and understand what's right and wrong, you got to learn halachot. A lot of times the reason you have people that they're very extreme, because they don't know. They don't know their halachot. So that's why they say it's better to be stringent than to be lenient. Why? Why better to be stringent than to be lenient? Go first learn the halachot. See the halakha and then decide if you want to be stringent or not. Especially in these cases when it's dealing with other people like your wife. So Rav David Yosef Shlita in Tahar Bayit begins. Haprisha be'ona hasmucha levesta. This separation that a person has to do at the period, at the time frame, which is close to a woman anticipating her blood. L'oilam hi ona shelema. Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. It's always a complete period. Again, not a woman's period, time frame. It's always a complete time frame. Dahainu, which means to say, Yom o Laila, day or night. Ben b'imei hakayitz, shayamim arukim, whether we're speaking about summer days, where the days are long, V'halelot kitzarim, and the nights are short. Uben b'mei hachorov shemim kitzarim v'halalot arukim. Or whether we speak about the winter days, where the days are short and the nights are long. Doesn't matter about that. We don't go after a 12-period cycle. We don't do that. We go after, if it's day, it's day. If it's night, it's night. You might say, Rabbi, 1 second. But in the summer, the days are longer. And in the winter, the days are shorter. So maybe I should even keep it into the night. No. You only keep what the day is. If the days are shorter, it's better for you. When the days are longer, I guess you have to wait a little bit longer. Excuse me. So that's what we're saying over here. Tamid poresh mimenek, always separate from your wife. Ota ona, that period. Whatever that period is going to be. Day, day. Night, night. Whether it's long or short, that's exactly how you're going to follow. You're not going to say, 1 second, in the summer, I'm just going to give you a hypothetical situation. In the summer, I kept, let's say, 14 hours of the day, for example. In the winter, it's 10 hours of the day. So maybe I should keep additional 4 hours into the night. No. Halacha tells us we go after the day. If it's a longer day, you have to just stay away from her longer. If it's a shorter day, you have to stay away from her shorter. That's how it works. Same thing at night, Rabotai. If the nights in the summer are shorter and she receives her period at night in the shorter period, and in the winter the nights are longer, don't say, wait a minute, in the winter I waited 12 hours, the period for the night. In the summer I'm only waiting 8 hours. Maybe I should add another 4 hours, another 6 hours, whatever it might be. No, we don't do that. We're going to tell you simply, if she sees her period during the day, he always has to separate from her during that period when she's anticipating her blood. He has to separate only during the day. It doesn't matter if it's summer days or winter days. Same thing at night. If a woman is accustomed to seeing her period at night, we're going to tell the husband, you stay away from her at night. Doesn't matter if the nights are short or if the nights are long. It's all one across the board. Whenever she sees, that's exactly when you stay away from her. Doesn't matter if the hours are longer or shorter. Continues Rav David. Umutar be'onot shelefanecha ul'acharecha. And you're allowed to go ahead and you're allowed to sleep in the time frame before her period and after her period. Again, not the period of the woman. All right, let's do this. Let's say a woman, the last time around, she saw was during the day. Now, next time around, when the husband has to stay away from her, we're going to tell you, Rabotai, it's going to be during the day. The period, the time frame before that day, you're allowed to sleep with her. The time frame after that day, you're allowed to sleep with her. Meaning, the night before the day, you're allowed to sleep with her. The night after the day, you're allowed to sleep with her. It's just the night after the day, you have to make sure she didn't see blood and she did an internal checking. That's what he's telling us. Or the other way around also. If a woman is accustomed to seeing at night, so let's say she saw blood at night. The next time around when she's anticipating the flow to come, say it's during the night. Doesn't matter if it's summer or doesn't matter if it's winter. We're going to tell you, the day before the night, you're allowed to have relations with her. The day after the night, as long as she didn't see and she did an internal bidika, and in certain situation where the evil inclination took over the husband, we're going to tell you he's allowed to be with his wife on the day after the night. That's what Rav David Yosef is telling us over here. Rabotai, we need to remember, if the halacha allows us something, don't try to be stringent, especially in situations where it involves another person. In this case, your wife. A lot of times, a person, for example, again, Rabotai, I'm not telling people what to do, but I want to just share with you something important, right? Is it an obligation to have peyot, sideburns? Is it an obligation to have long beards? Is it an obligation, Rabotai? Some rabbis are going to say yes, some rabbis are going to say no. What is the halacha, Rabotai? For Sephardim, we're not obligated to hold piyot. It's nice to have piyot. Be my guest. It's nice to have long beards, but what happens if that beard bothers your wife? Why don't you take her into consideration? Chacham Ovadia, in his prime time when he was young, was shaven. He would not have a nice small beard. It's only later when he became older he started growing long beards. Maybe you should consider, maybe it bothers your wife. So if the halakha doesn't require it of you, so why are you being stringent on yourself? Rabotai, just because a person has a long beard and piyot and a black hat doesn't mean he learns Torah, doesn't mean he knows Torah. He can be 100% Am Haaretz. Like Chazal tells, Chasid Shoteh. Doesn't mean nothing, Rabotai. Chokhmah is in the brain. A person has to sit and learn. Again, always consult your local rabbi. Do what you have to do. But I'm trying to bring at a point, don't try to be extreme at the expense of your spouse or your family. There's a halakha in the Shulchan Aruch. I'm just trying to remember Siman. I believe in Siman Reish Ayin Aleph, in Halakha Aleph. It says over there, when a person comes home after shul on Shabbat, he should begin the suda immediately, the meal immediately. Nevertheless, the Shulchan Aruch says, what happens if you are full? You want to come into the Shabbat meal, you want to have an appetite. But you don't have the appetite because whatever it was, you ate before. Let's say you had a Sudat Mitzvah, you had a Brit Milah, so you ate, which was allowed. Now, your wife is hungry, your children are tired, they want to go to sleep. What do you say? I want to do the halakha the best possible way until I'm As long as I'm satiated, I'm not going to start the Shabbos meal. Because the best way to do the mitzvah is when you're hungry, so you have a desire to eat the Shabbat meal. So the guy says, I'm satiated now, so that's not the best way to do the mitzvah. That's what the Mishnah Berurah brings down. He says, no. Don't be stringent right now on the expense of your wife and your children. Go ahead, do kiddush and start eating. But I'm not doing the mitzvah the best possible way. It's okay. It's fine. Not at the expense of other people. The Rav Chaim goes to such an extent, and he says, even if you have a maid servant, you have a Jewish cleaning lady in your house, and you know she has to go home, or by you prolonging the meal or starting the meal late, you're going to keep her from coming home early. You know what he says? Start the meal immediately. Don't be stringent at the expense of other people. That's what you see a lot of times today. You see it. One time one rabbi said there was a guy, he would go do tikkun chatzot. Tikkun chatzot is something a person wakes up in, either before Halachot Shachar, before dawn, or even in midnight, and you read and you cry and you mourn the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. So this guy would wake up every time before Amud Shachar, before dawn. He would go by the doorway, because that's where you have to do it. And then he would cry and he would feel pained. Rabotai, with that, he woke up his wife, his children. But he thought he was a tzaddik. Don't do it. Don't do it. You want to do it, make sure it's not at the expense of other people. Chacham Ovadia Yosef Shlita, when he used to do tikkun, when he used to do slichot, they used to blow the shofar in the shul. It was before Halachot Shachar. He said he stopped blowing the shofar because it would bother other neighbors. It would wake them up. But the shofar and during slichot is going to awaken Jews to do teshuvah. Do teshuvah without the shofar also. Do not do things at the expense of other people. And in this case, your wife. That's what Rav David Yosef is telling us over here. Tamid poresh mimeno ota ona. Always separate from her that ona. Umutar be'onot shelafanechu la'acharecha. And you're allowed to be with her prior to that period and after that period, like it was explained. In regards to this ona period, from when do we calculate the ona period? So he says, Hayom nechshav mehanetzach hama ve'ad shki'ata. Very important. This is a very important rule, Rabotai. The day is considered from sunrise till sunset. Rabotai, today's date is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I want to show you current time 2:35. I want to show you something very important over here. I want you guys to pay close attention. Over here, what I'm highlighting right now, where it says dawn, this is the time of dawn. 4:59 is dawn. You know, the Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Aleph, in Halacha Aleph, Yitgaber ka'ari lamot baboker, shehu me'orer hashachar. You have to wake up the dawn. That means you have to be up already before 4:59. How many of us do this mitzvah? Nevertheless, meaning how many of us do this halacha? Let's continue. Then you have the earliest talis and tefillin, which is 5:33. According to Sephardim, it's a little bit earlier. I can tell you exactly right now. I have the Sephardic app. Just let me see it. I have Zmanei Yosef. That's what I have. Okay. Over here it says, let's see, what's it? 5:33 by us. Earliest time is 5:11 by us. Amud dawn is 4:57. Net is identical, 6:24. So what I want to show you, over here, Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. It's very important halacha. If sunrise, if we're considering the only period of her day to be from sunrise until sunset, which is right over here, listen please carefully. Do not be a chassid shoteh. Sunrise is 6:24. Sunset is 7:23. That means, comes Rav David Yosef and he says, if this woman is anticipating a period during the day, let's say your wife wants to be with you at 6:22, 6:20, doesn't matter. If you know you're going to be able to make her happy before 6:24 comes, you are You have to have relations with her, right over here, before sunrise. You're allowed to have relations with her. Now, when it comes to sunset, 7:23 is sunset. Let's say she didn't see, let's say she did the internal bidika. She checked herself. She's clean. Now she says to the husband, babe, I want to be with you at 7:24. The husband shouldn't say, oh, I want to wait for nightfall 8:05. When it comes to Halachot Niddah, it's considered from sunset, it's already night. Up to sunset, it's day. That, Rabotai, is a very important point. Many, many times I've seen it where people are stringent and they take that away. They take intimacy away from their wives. Not allowed to be done, Rabotai. Very, very severe avera. You cannot, chas v'shalom, leave your wife hanging. Because remember, if she needs to be satisfied and you're not satisfying her, chas v'shalom, she'll get it somewhere else, lo leinu. Okay, so let's go back over here. So that's what he says. When it comes to the whole understanding, when it comes to the whole matter of understanding when is the time frame that you have to go ahead and you have to stay away from her. Let's say if it's during the day, we're gonna tell you. You know when day is considered. Hayom nechshav me'hanetzach hama ve'ad shki'ata. The day is considered from sunrise until sunset. That means before sunrise and after sunset, if she's clean, you're allowed to have relations with her. Don't be a tzaddik. Don't say, oh, Rabbi, you know what? 1 second, but doesn't the day start from dawn? Which it does. We'll see right now. Really, the day starts from dawn. Rabotai, right over here. Starts 4:59. So you might think you're already an hour, almost an hour and a half into the day. I shouldn't be with her. When it comes to Halachot Niddah, it's not the case. For other laws, you're right, day starts from dawn. When it comes to Halachot Niddah, day starts from sunrise. Continues Rav David Yosef Shlita and he says, V'halayla, when is the period of the night? How do you calculate that? Mishkiyat hachama ve'ad zrichata. Rabotai, listen to this. From sunset until sunrise. Let me just go over here. From sunset, which is 7:23, until sunrise. Let me just go for tomorrow's date. Tomorrow's sunrise is going to be 6:25. So from sunset to sunrise. That means before sunset, 1 second. If this woman is she's anticipating a period to come at night, before sunset, right over here, at, let's say, if he knows he's able to be with her at 7:20 and finish before 7:23, we're going to tell him, again, like I explained, that if the Yetzer Hara overcomes him, because there's rules to having relations during the day. So if he's able to go ahead and sleep with her at 7:20 and finish before 7:23, we're going to tell him he has to do it. Tell him not to be afraid. However, he says, the same thing is going to apply for the following day. He has all the way up until sunset, right over here. That means if he knows, because remember, Rabotai, no, not up to sunset. Not up to sunset. I got it. Rabotai, let me do it one more time. I'm going back and forth. Let me do it one more time. I want to make sure you guys get it. Let's do this one more time. We said that if this woman is accustomed to seeing from sunset to sunrise, then he's allowed to be with her before sunset. So too, he's allowed to be with her after sunrise. That's what I wanted to say. Right over here. After sunrise. Because this whole period is night. Then again, he's allowed to be with her during the day. Okay? So one more time. If a woman is accustomed to seeing her period at night, now she's anticipating her period to come at night. At night, we tell the husband, he's not allowed to have relations with her at night. But the day before the night and the day after the night, we're going to tell the husband, if the Yetzer Hara overtook him, he's allowed to go ahead and have relations with her. Rabotai, there's more laws to it. Maybe I should do it one time, but there are more laws to it. The reason why we want it to be dark, because we don't really want the guy to see a woman's body, because if he sees any little thing, it's going to turn him off. So that's the Chacham are going to tell you, you should put a sheet over yourself to cover, to make it dark, so therefore you don't see her. Or put, I don't know if you have those blinds which darken the room. All right, Rabotai, there's halachot about when it comes to sleeping with your wife during the day. And nevertheless, let's say those halachot are met and this woman is anticipating a period only for the nighttime period. We're going to tell you the day before the night and the day after the night, he's allowed to go ahead and have relations with her. That's in this case over here, if sunrise finishes, starts at 6:25, that means from 5, even though it's dawn, nevertheless, we're still going to look at it at night. You're not allowed to be with your wife in this period. But at 6:26, as long as she didn't see blood and she did the internal checking, and you are in that category of being able to sleep with your wife during the day, we're going to tell you you're allowed to go ahead and have relations with her at 6:26. Okay, Rabotai. So let's do this one more time. In regards to this matter, when it comes to a woman's time frame, the period, the day is considered, we take into calculation from sunrise to sunset. So if a woman is accustomed to see during the day, the next time around when she's anticipating the period to come, it still didn't come. She's anticipating the period to come. We're going to tell the husband, stay away from her only from sunrise till sunset. But before sunrise, you're allowed to be with her. And after sunset, you're allowed to be with her as long as she's clean. The same thing is going to apply by the night. V'halayla, how do you calculate the nighttime period? Mishkiyat achama ve'ada zrichata. From sunset until sunrise. That means that if a woman is accustomed to seeing at night, the husband is not allowed to have relations with her from sunset already until sunrise. But before sunset and after sunrise, we're going to tell him he's allowed to go ahead and be with her. Again, Rabotai, as long as she's clean and she did the internal bedikam. Continues Rav David and he says, Af al pi shebishar dinim, even though by other laws, stam yomhu, in general we're going to tell you the day is me'alot hashachar v'at tzatz kochavim. Rabotai, when it comes to other laws, let's say fasting, right, or any other law, you're going to have the day starts from dawn until when the 3 stars come at nightfall. It's only by Niddah we're going to tell you it's from sunrise until sunset. That's only by Niddah. By everything else, Rabotai, it's from dawn until when the 3 stars come out, until night. That's what he tells us over here. Even though by other halachot, stam yomhu me'alot hashachar ve'atzet kochavim. In general, a day is going to be from dawn until tzatz kochavim. And night is going to be from when the stars come out until dawn. Listen to what Rav David Yosef says. Listen to what Rav David Yosef Shlita says now. You have those people that have the custom to be stringent. You also have some people that they're stringent in separating from their wives even a period prior to her anticipated period. That means if a woman is anticipating to see blood, let's say during the day, this guy will even stay away from her the night before. Or if the woman is anticipating to see the period at night, he'll even stay away from her the day before. So really he's not keeping, the night cycle alone, he's also keeping the day cycle. Or the other way around, if she sees during the day, he's not only staying away from her during the day, he's even staying away from her the night before the day. That, Rabotai, should always be consulted with your wife if you want to do it or not. So one more time, there are those people that have customs, la'achmir, to be stringent, lifrosh gam be'onat הקודמת לעונת וסטה. To separate from their wives a period earlier from her anticipated period. Ulam, he says, what happens if now they learn the halakha and they see it this whole time they've been doing it wrong? Why miss a night with your wife? If you could be with your wife, why miss it? Or if she wants to be with you, why deprive her of it? Ulam, however, Rasha'im hem levatal minhagam al yidei hataram. They are able to go ahead and nullify their custom through undoing this custom. They take 3 rabbis, 3 Talmidei Chachamim, and they start telling them what this custom that I accepted by myself, to even stay away from my wife the period prior to her anticipated period. I regret doing it. They're going to ask him, why do you regret it? He's going to have to find the reason. No, I didn't know it's going to cause you such pain, whatever it might be. Comes Rav David and he says, the Talmid Chacham, the judges that are sitting in front of you, they'll find the reason. They're going to start telling you, had you known this, would you do this? Had you known this, would you have said it? There's ways to go around. You have to be able to find a petach. You have to be able to find an opening in order to be able to go ahead and annul his custom. Nevertheless, comes Rav David and he says, you could do like this. The opening you can find for them, that they should say that they regret, I'm not saying the word Bili Nadar. Because Rabotai, whenever it comes to doing something, it's not only if I said I'm going to do something, that's a neder, that's like a vow. It's also only even if I didn't say anything and I just did it. That's also, if you do something 3 times, automatically it becomes a custom. For example, you're sitting in shul, a guy comes, you always give him $1. You did it 3 times, from now on you always have to give him $1. You can't give him a quarter, that's how it works. Because now you establish a custom. You have a chazakah, you have a status quo 3 times, that's it. In order to undo it, you have to go to 3 rabbis. They have to find an opening and then they have to undo it for you. But in our situation over here, we're going to tell them, listen, had you known that you would deprive your wife, would you go ahead and accept upon yourself such a minhag? He says no. It's okay. We say, we forgive him. Or of David Yosef that says, let him say, I regret not saying Bili Neder. Because even when it comes to customs that are done with actions and not words, you also have to say Bili Neder. So whenever you do something, whenever you give a donation, or whenever you want to daven, you want to do a certain stringency upon yourself, you always have to say Bili Neder Be'ezrat Hashem. Bili Neder is enough, without a vow. Okay. So we see from Rav David Yosef right now that if a person was stringent and he stayed away from his wife 2 periods, 2 time frames, and now he realized that the halakha, it's allowed, let him go to 3 Talmidei Chachamim. From there, they'll be able to undo this custom of his. Let's do a review. The halakha. A husband must separate from his wife at the time close to her veset. Again, what is the veset? Expected period when it might come. Right? The time frame. That time always counts as a full ona. That, again, time frame of her period. Either a full day or a full night. One more time. That time always counts as a full ona. That time frame of when she's anticipating to get a period is either going to be a full day or a full night. Even in the summer when the days are long and the nights are short, we're going to keep it the same. Even in the winter when the nights are long and days are short, it doesn't matter. If she sees it during the day, you only have to keep the day. If she sees it during the night, you only have to keep the night and nothing else. He only needs to separate during that one ona, not the one before it or after it. What counts as day and night? Only in Halachot of Niddah, we're going to tell you the day starts from sunrise until sunset. Only in Halachot of Niddah, we're going to tell you night starts from sunset until sunrise. Even though in other halachot, day usually means from dawn until nightfall, here the rule is different. Stringency. If a person is extra careful, yeah, he has this custom to be extra careful. Some people keep an extra chumrah and extra stringency. They also separate for the owner before her vested time. Like we explained, if she's anticipating to see the period during the day, he wants to be a tzaddik and he separates even the night before. But if they want, they can cancel this chumrah, they can cancel the stringency by doing chatarat nidarim, by nullifying it, since it was a personal custom.